In this video, we are going to talk about Amazon Lex. Amazon Lex is basically an AWS service that allows you to build conversational interfaces into your applications, right? It's one service that supports both voice and text, and then it allows you to build various forms of chatbots, and then it's easily integrated into your contact center solution. So yes, Amazon Lex basically scales very well, so you don't really need to worry about any infrastructure, and then it enables you to build an application, as I said, using multiple interfaces, primarily speech and text and all that. So we are going to basically go into it. As you know, on Tech with Corp now, we just learning cloud one to three at a time, and then we ensure that we build everything to the console so that you see it. I'll do all to provide links to the notes so that if you want to understand some of the terminologies, you can easily look at that. So yes, I'm basically going to start and then show you guys how to build our Lex bot. So I'm first going to start by creating my bot. Yeah, so now there are multiple ways of creating bots now. Whether you want to bring in some generative AI stuff, right? That's pretty much work well with Bedrock, all this AI fancy stuff, or you can choose to do your traditional approach. For this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through the traditional approach of creating our own Lex bot from scratch. And then I will explain all the key things that you are supposed to know when building your Lex bot. So I'm going to call this one my finance. So let's keep Tech Pro Lex bot. The description is optional. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to create a new row, and then yeah, I'm just going to disable login for now. But if you need to troubleshoot stuff, you can do that. But for this, I'm going to do this. This is very important. It's more like a privacy protection act. So if your Lexbot is subjected to children, you just select yes. If not, just select no. I'm going to leave mine as no. Basically, click on next. And here, Lex supports multiple languages. For this, I'm going to show you guys how to work with English. So I'll just select English USA. The voice, I'm going to select Matthew.
Hello, my name is Matthew. Let me know how I can assist you.
For now, I'm going to leave everything as default. Yeah, speech model preference. You can choose standard, none, or something. For now, I'm going to leave everything as default. You can play with all these things to understand the differences better. It's better experience the more you play with Lex. Good. So the first key thing I'm going to talk about in a Lex box is something referenced as an intent. An intent pretty much represents an action that fulfills a user request. So for example, if you have a contact center and then say we have three menu options, people calling to say reach out to our finance, education, or IT support. Each of these things are a specific intent, right, to which the customer is calling. So if a customer calls and the customer wants to go to finance and the person says finance, then we are triggering an intent call finance. In a Lightbot, what we can do is to create that as an intent. So I'm going to do that and then call one intent finance, right? Yeah. The next thing you have to be pay attention to, one, you have an intent is something referenced an utterance. An utterance pretty much represents a phrase, right? That the user is expected to speak or say or type. That will trigger that specific utterance. Sorry, that specific intent. So I have an intent like finance. Some of the utterances or anything that the person can say in my contact center, that will lead them, that you expect to trigger the finance intent are the things that you reference as your utterances. So in my case, if the person says finance, I want to do that. If the person say finances, I want to do. If the person say money, I want to go that route. Yeah. So all these things are utterances, right? To trigger this intent. The next thing I'm going to talk about is something reference as slots. So you see, when you have a specific intent, right, being triggered, you want to be able to say ask questions. You want to be able to capture a certain information from the customer. So in our case, for example, I've come in, I've said finance and I've triggered the finance intent. and then I want to be able to get the person's, say the person's name or the person's account number, the person's phone number. All those things, those informations that you require to fulfill your intent could be stored as slots, right? There are two ways we can create our own slots directly independent of our intent, or we can create a slot inside our intent. So in this case, I'm just going to show you guys how to simply create a slot directly in the intent, and then I'll show you the other way too. So say I want a slot that will get a customer name, right? So let me do, or let me get just a customer number or something. So let me do your customer ID. Now, with slots, we have something reference as slot types. Slot types indicates the type of slots, right? So you can have your own custom slot types. Say I have a restaurant and I have a certain type of pizzas, and then I want to restrict people to do that. I can create my own slot type that if I request for pizzas, I want to see these types, right? Or there are inbuilt slot types too. That comes by default. That is phone numbers, names, percentages, and all these things. You can, as I say, play with them, and then you'll be able to see all these tiny differences. In our case, with my customer ID, I just want to use the alphanumeric, right? So my ID could be a mixture of numbers and then alphabet. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll give it a prompt. So what I'm saying is, if someone comes in and wants to go to the finance unit, I want to get their customer ID. Please enter your customer ID. Add. So this one slot that I've added. So this is it. And then I can choose to add a confirmation prompt, a fulfillment prompt, confirmation, right? If the person enters, I want the person to take a follow-up action. If the person confirms, I want to probably play a certain message to the person. Let me just enable fulfillments, and then you can play with all this by toggling the button. So if it's a success, thank you for for reaching out with your ID. So this is, yeah. So hopefully this works. So let me just try this, and then I'll do this, and I'll click on save intent. So this is Lex as a whole. The rest is you playing with Amazon Lex. Now with Lex, anytime you build your Lex board, there are key things you have to note. One is each Lex has a version, and then after creating a version, you have to first build your Lex board before you're able to test it. Right? So what I'm going to do now is to simply click on build. Great. So now that my Lex board has built, what I can do is to test my board to see if my utterances are working. So I simply click on this, and then I can type, say, finance. So this is one of my sample utterances. So now finance, please enter your customer ID. So let me just enter some random alphanumeric stuff. So thank you for reaching out. Your ID, blah blah blah. So you see, I've been able to put in an utterance that triggers my finance intent, and then it's required for me to fill the slots values, and then it's giving me the fulfillment message. So you can create the number of intents you want, and then you can add your utterances, create your own slots, and then make use of it. Now, one thing I want to talk about is something referenced as fallback intent. Fallback intent is pretty much an intent that gets fulfilled if none of your original intent works, right? So if none of your original intent works, if you have a contact center which is dynamic and then none of your intent works, it's going to go directly to this fallback intent. It comes by default. Yeah. So The next thing I just want to show you guys is, as I said, you can create your own slot types too. If you don't want to use the inbuilt, you just come to slot types and then you can add it. So if I want to add a blank slot type, say I want to have this as fine, let me do finance type. Right, I can choose to have an open-ended values, or I can restrict the value. So in this case, I'm just restricting values, and then I'm going to say finance type. What do I have? Just doing random stuff. Pension, or and then the next one I can add, say, school fund. Let me do fund, school fund. Yeah. So if you add any slot value, right, you have the options to add other alternative values that the person would probably enter, whether not saying school fund. So say if the person says a university fund, I want it still should be considered as a school fund. I can add this and then click on add value. So pension, I can do retire, right? So this is how easily you can create your own slot values and then make use of them. So if I save this, I can later on go to my initial Lexboard to use these slot types in them. So this is less in a very simple form, right? And remember, each time you make changes to your Lexboard, you have to ensure that you've built your Lexboard, else those changes won't take effect. Or when you test it, you won't be able to see it. The next thing I'm going to talk about before we wrap up is having your versions and aliases and all that. So as I said, you see, when you are working in your Lexboards, Lex by default gives you something we call the draft version, right? The draft version allows you to quickly build your build and then test it and all that. But it's not great to use it in production. So if you want to do that, what you can do is to simply create another version, and then you create something that we call an alias. And pretty much what alias does is it points you to a certain version. So there are two ways of doing that, or there are numerous ways. You can simply click on create alias and then you select your version that you have. Since I don't have any version yet, I'm first going to create a version of my own, and then I'll proceed to create an alias. So I'll basically click on the both versions, create version, and then I'm creating a version for my English. Just leave everything as default. If I want to give it a description, let me make this one my first, which is optional, and create. So what this is doing is taking the current draft, right? Remember, everything is built in draft. So it's taking the current draft and then it's storing it in version 1. So if I want to have an alias that points to my current version 1, I just come in, create alias. And then I'll select my V1. Then I'll create my alias. So that if I have an application and I'm integrating that, sorry, I didn't give my alias a name. So let me say this one is my live alias. So this is my current alias that is live. So my live alias points to my V1, and then this points to this. I can always update it the more I build multiple versions. So this is some of the few stuff that I want you to know. Yeah, so this is Amazon Lex in simple action. So guys, just build a simple Lex bot, create multiple intents, play with it and test it. Always remember to build your Lex bot after any major changes so that it will be able to work fine. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, and then as part of our Connect series, we are going to learn how to integrate this Lexbot into Amazon Connect flow, and then we'll be able to make certain and further adjustments and changes. Thank you so much for watching, and then let's see in the next video.